Good morning. I am here this morning to make some crepes. I was asked by a friend to make them. She wants to make them at home for her kids. So it is something that we make here on a pretty regular basis. My girls like them with little lemon and sugar. We're gonna do sweet crepes. You can fill them with yogurt, fresh berries, whatever you want. You could also do savory crepes and then throw some eggs, cheese, sauteed veggies in them. You could do them like that as well. So we'll do the sweet ones today. I have my latte ready to go, so I'm good to go. They are a lot easier than a lot of people think to make. I am going to put them in a blender and blend them up, although I need to get my blade because it's not in there. But okay, so I pre-measured out what I need for it. So for one batch of these, I'm gonna do 2 eggs. I have a cup of flour. I have 3/4 cup of milk, 1/2 cup of water, and then 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Because we're doing sweet crepes, I am going to put in some vanilla. I have, I don't know, maybe about a teaspoon, and then some sugar, about 2 tablespoons. If you were gonna do 2 tablespoons. If you were gonna do savory crepes, if you wanted, obviously omit the vanilla and the sugar, add a little bit of salt to it. You could add fresh herbs if you like. You do a little pepper, garlic powder, whatever you want to make them on the savory side. So you're basically just gonna take everything, dump it into your blender. So again, that's 3/4 cup of milk. I have a 1/2 cup of water. I have my vanilla, my sugar. We're gonna do 2 eggs. Cracked into there. And our cup of flour. And then our butter, melted butter into that. So we will just blend that up. And then in the meantime, I have my skillet warming up. Very important for crepes to do a non-stick surface for them. Obviously, they cook fast and you need to be able to flip them real quickly. So I have this warming up behind me. I also have a stick of butter because we'll do a little bit of butter in the pan to keep them from sticking. All right, let me scrape down the sides. Scrape the sides down a little bit because I got some dry flour on there. Have a sip of your coffee. Okay. That is it for your batter. Okay, so the pan is warming up. I have a plate right next to it just to throw them on. You will notice that the batter is a little bit on the runny side. It should be. Because when you pour it in your pan, you need to be able to rotate that pan, and this batter is going to slowly make its way out into a nice thin crepe. So I have my heat on like a medium-low heat, not super, super hot, but the pan is nice and hot. So just a little bit of butter in there. First crepe always kind of turns out like garbage, don't worry. Just the way it goes. You're going to pour, depends on the size of your pan, anywhere from like a 1/4 cup to about a 1/3 cup of the batter in. I'll probably do roughly about a 1/3 cup into this size pan. And as you're pouring it, you want to right away start rotating that pan because it's going to start cooking right away. So pour it in. And it's already cooking on the bottom there. And so just keep on swirling it so it makes a nice thin crepe till it's pretty much done. And then throw it back on that heat. And at this point, you're gonna let it sit for about a minute. And it'll cook quickly. And then we're gonna loosen up the edges and work on getting it flipped. Let it go a little bit longer. I'm gonna go and turn my heat up just a tiny bit. All right, take my spatula, see if we can get it underneath there. Getting there. We'll give it another minute. So I think for the next one, I'm going to turn the heat up to medium, so it cooks up a little bit faster. faster. Again, it's always trial and error, especially on the first one. All right, give it a flip. Yeah, trial and error. That's right, we'll get it with the next one. All right, so there's our first flop. It's okay, trial and error, always works out that way. I went ahead and turned my heat up to medium. I feel like it needs to cook a little bit faster. So we're gonna throw just that little bit of butter in there. Pour in that batter. Okay. And just twirl that pan. All right, let's get it down on the heat. Let's see if this one works out a little bit better. I went ahead and grabbed out my spatula that has the rounded edge. Makes it a little bit easier. So we'll give this one a minute now. Let it cook through. All right, this one looks like it may be ready to be flipped. So I could use tongs. I use my fingers. Get it underneath. Yep, this one's looking good. All right, flip it and then just spread it out. Let it cook for another minute on that side. I may turn up the heat a little bit more even so that they get a little bit, some brown spots on them. So I'm gonna go above medium on there. All right, see now the edge is getting a little bit brown. That's kind of what you want, the little bit of the brown spots there. So I think turning up the heat was a good idea. I may even flip it back over one more time. So the next one should cook a little bit faster even. All right, we'll slide that off. Okay. Again, do a little bit of butter. So now my heat is a little bit above medium. I'm pouring that batter. All right, get it rotating around. All right, we'll let that cook. It's already starting to brown a little bit on the edges. That's kind of what you want. That's looking pretty good. Get my guy under there, flip it over, spread it out. There you go, get some of that brown on there. And then as I make them, I just keep stacking them up until they're ready to go. And then at that point, you can take them, you can rewarm them up, you can fill them, whatever you like. Again, we're just gonna take them, fold them, do a little fresh lemon, a little bit of sugar on top. All right, so there you have it. We made our crepes. This batch of batter made approximately 8 crepes, including my screw-up one in the beginning. A couple of them tore a little bit. Again, no big deal. You're probably gonna fold them up and stuff anyhow. They're good cold, they're good warm, filled with whatever you like. So I hope you enjoy.